various Republicans are being, presidential candidates are being drawn by the logic of their criticism of Barack Obama into saying we should go back in with ground troops. ISIS and the Islamic State is a big problem for Barack Obama. The more they criticize him, it's going to be a big problem for Republicans who are going to be challenged to, if you will the end, you have to will the means to that end, and what are your means?
George Will, of course, on Fox Sunday. But you know what I really am interested in finding out about now is what a professional pollster thinks about how we can possibly poll candidates in an era where there's 20-some people running for the Republican nomination and pretty much only one running for the Democrat. To help us out with that, we have John Zogby, pollster for Zogby Polls, CEO of Zogby Analytics, and a guy who knows the field, well, probably just about better than anybody. John, welcome.
Hi, thanks. Good to be with you.
And a happy Memorial Day to you and your family.
Thanks.
So let's start out with the GOP candidates. How in the world can you poll this at this point successfully when there are so many choices?
Well, so many choices and very few that are really known on a national basis. And it's very hard to develop a first tier and a second tier when even the best known front runner is only polling nationally 12 or 13%, that being Jeb Bush. And so, you know, we're taking a temperature right now. We get a sense that there's really no early runaway front runner.
What does it take to see this change a little bit, to see some candidate or another solidify a bit?
It's going to have to play out. You know, we'll go through well, there won't be an Iowa straw poll like we normally have, but that's usually like a first cut. But, you know, I think by October or so, you'll start to see some getting a sense that they're not competitive enough, and you'll start to see at least a flavor or two of the month pulling away a little bit.
Are you getting any sense of who those flavors of the month might be?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I've been watching Marco Rubio for a few months. I think he was off to a very good start. He has to sustain it, of course. And secondly, of course, Scott Walker, who is doing well in the polls. But, you know, it remains to be seen whether or not they're flavors of the month. But I do think that on the basis of a very good start, Rubio might be considered top of the first tier.
Well, I'm curious, in the polling that you've done, and I don't know if this is something you've addressed, have you asked the question as to whether or not Marco Rubio appears, and I underline the word appears, to be too young to be president of the United States? Are people having an issue with that?
We asked it a while back, and many felt that he was too young. And frankly, when I knew that he was going to be coming out, I was among the doubters. However, I saw his numbers pick up, particularly among women, and I think he addressed the issue in a Jack Kennedy, Barack Obama 2008 kind of manner, with youth and vigor and hope and the American dream. Right. And I think, at least so far, he's actually making the youthfulness work for him.
Interesting. Let me switch gears on you and take us over to how President Obama is currently doing in the ratings. Let's take that as an empirical question to begin with. Is how is the president doing in the ratings?
You know, no big changes at all. His numbers have been hovering in the 45% to 47% job approval range. That's not really a range. I mean, basically, it's more of the same every day, down a point or two, up a point or two, right. But that average has sustained itself.
So I was looking at, actually, it wasn't your survey, I was looking at another rating, and 47% seems to be the average rating at this part, you know, the quarter of a president's term for all U.S. presidents. So do you get the sense that Obama's kind of hovering around the average, or is doing worse, or is doing better?
No, he's at about the average, absolutely. You know, by this point in time, even Ronald Reagan had Iran-Contra,
yeah, right.
And then bounced back. You know, George H.W. Bush, at this point in time, that was like a false positive in many ways. He was still basking in Desert Storm.
Desert Storm.
But no, I mean, essentially, what you have here is a president who is in acceptable levels.
So in the very short time we have left, I have to ask you, are you finding that Hillary Clinton's being hurt by all of these scandals that seem to be hitting her almost on a daily basis?
Not yet, but she will be.
Why do you think she will be quickly?
Because on one hand it's too early, on the other hand it's early, and just a steady, slow drip, 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 drip,
Okay.
and the fewer times she answers questions.
John,
the
I
more-
got to let you go. I
We gotta-
apologize, but we're up against the clock. Thanks so much, John Zogby of Zogby Analytics. Coming up next, host of the Daily Wrap on Newsmax, Joe Concha. But first, as you know, today is Memorial Day, and it's important that we remember that those who made the ultimate sacrifice and gave their life for our country, please take a moment and remember the fallen with me, and we've prepared something to help you do that it's important that you watch. I hope you'll join with us here at Newsmax in watching the following.